guys read. It's my favorite pastime hobby. Funny that I mentioned that. Okay, this is a little bit of a side story, but I was reading A Dance of Fate by Brittany Arena. Love it. And they mentioned the word pastime. And most of you know, not everyone always gets this freaking question, but I am not Australian, American, whatever. English is not my first language. I'm German. And I only learned English like later on in life. So I always thought it's called past time. I don't know why I thought that. I guess it makes so much more sense without the T. But when I saw that written in the book, I was like, oh. So I think I unfortunately have used the word quite a lot. I also think I have written the word wrong a lot. And I've mentioned it before, so yeah, I'm really sorry. I didn't know. I genuinely thought it was past time. Like double T. But like now it just makes more sense that you pass the time with something. Regardless. I apologize for my misspellings, but where was I? I lost the plot. Yeah, Goodreads and Fable do come to come with my friends. I also have a book club on Fable you can join. I think by the time that I'm uploading this video, we'll be voting on a new read. So you can vote with us, read with us. We have a lot of fun over there. And maybe we'll read one of those new releases when the time comes. But without further ado, let's now actually get started with this video. Okay, so first things first, the first book series, I guess, that I want to talk about is something I'm really excited for. So, for quite a little bit of time now, Amazon has been doing these little mini series with different authors for like different themes. Last year we got a Christmas themed like 6-book novella collection, and Hzelwood was part of that. Who else? I think Olivia Dade. I think Christina as well. I'm not sure. No, I'm not sure. Regardless. You get the point. I think you might have seen it. I think if you're a Amazon, like Kindle, what's the word? Kindle Unlimited subscriber, you get full access to these novella collections, and I think as well, because that's how I access them, if you're a Prime member on Amazon, because I personally don't have Kindle Unlimited because I don't own a Kindle, but I do have Amazon Prime, so I used to be able to access these stories with like no guarantee, and a few months ago they had a novella thriller collection with Freida McFadden. So what I think they're like doing with these collections is they're trying to get a big author to do it, and then I'm guessing they're trying to drive traffic to Kindle Unlimited and to Amazon Prime. I think that's like the point of it. However, I enjoy these little novellas. I think novellas are so fun. I really enjoy like reading a novella because it's just you can sit down, you can read the story, there's also palette cleansers. Love a good novella. So Amazon just announced, and it's coming super soon on September 23rd, if I'm not wrong. They are releasing a like spicy Halloween collection. They're really feeding us book girlies. Okay, I'm really excited for this collection. And it's called the Scared Sexy series. If that doesn't sound promising, I think you're going to be very excited. I want to hear characters on this roster, okay? So, obviously, my girl Ellie Hazelwood is here, and this is kind of how I heard about the whole thing. I think Ellie Hazelwood and Amazon, she's also been in the old collection. She also done a Spotify exclusive, but, you know, I'm down for these Amazon ones. Not the biggest fan of Amazon itself. This is obviously not sponsored. I'm truly a huge Ellie Hazelwood fan. I think she's one of my favorite authors, and I like read everything she writes. Also her little like side quest project she's doing. So, we have 6 novellas in total in this collection, and literally I'm quite excited. Okay, so the first book we have is Hot for the Slayer by our girl Ellie Hazelwood. It says, when Ethelred, in short Ethel, to her modern-day Manhattan neighbours, finds her sworn nemesis Laszlo Anid with no memory of who or what they are, an ancient hunt becomes an unexpected chance at forbidden passion. He is crashing on a couch, solving her Sudoku puzzles and looking at her like she is his eternal flame. As his memories slowly return, Ethel realizes she might be in danger of losing more than just her head. Again, here it says more about the Halloween collection. So it says, Scared Sexy is a deliciously dark collection of Halloween romances where things that go bump in the night might just steal your heart. These seductive standalone stories blend chills and heat in the perfect Halloween treat, each designed to be devoured in one sitting. I love Halloween. I'm a really big fan of Halloween, and I love nothing more than they like really feeding us with like sexy, spooky like stories. I'm so down. So that's book 1, Hot for the Slayer. I'm guessing these are all going to be like 70 pages max, I'm guessing. Then book 2 is another favourite author of mine, the duo Christina Lauren. Their book is called Falling. And it says, undoubtedly seductive immortal's power of persuasion have worked flawlessly for 9 centuries until he meets the woman who can't resist him. Cute. Then we have a Spicy Little Curses by J.T Geissinger. And I don't know this author, if I looked at her like Goodreads page for a minute, and it seems to be like she writes a lot of spicy romances, like dark romances, so perfect for Halloween. And it says a reporter's disbelief in the supernatural is tested when she uncovers a tattoo artist's sinister family secrets. Then, also very exciting, book 4 is by Ruby Dixon, which is the author of Ice Planet Barbarian. And I personally haven't read it yet. It's on my list. But yeah, I heard it's like super fun alien spice. So, you know, well down for that. But however, she's in this collection, so I'm very excited to get a taste of her writing. And her book is called A Space Vampire. And the blurb, I'm not reading the full blurb, I'm just reading the really short one sentence things. It says, in a universe full of heartless aliens, an abandoned human, and a vampire clone, discover an unexpected connection. What? Like, I love this. This is so unserious, but it's so good. Like, what? Okay. Then book 5 is another very popular author, Katee Robert. She is the author of Neon Lights, I believe it's called. It's a very popular dark romance book. I believe it's a Persephone and Hades retelling, like dark and spicy. And her book is called Beautiful Nightmare, where it says, for one awkward sleep paralysis demon scaring humans should be simple, except Gemma's first solo hunting goes hilariously wrong in this tantalizing dream of a short story. Like, the roster, you know, like, I'm so intrigued to cope with being ditched on a mountain until every possible hot man in town starts competing for one woman's attention. Okay. I am so excited for this collection. I will be completely gobbling this up the second it comes out. I'm so ready, like, of all the romance, spicy romance, like paranormal romance, I don't even know, dark romance, we got it all. And I love nothing more than a Halloween collection. Like, what are we doing? I don't think I've ever been this excited about a novella collection, because it just, like, for Halloween, it's such a fun idea. Like, I love it so much. And I'm very excited. But yeah, this series comes out 23rd of September. And again, they will be Amazon exclusives, so they will only be able to access them over Amazon. But again, I think with the Prime subscription, you can access them by downloading the Kindle app on your phone or on your iPad or whatever you have, and then logging in with your Prime account, and then you should be able to access these books. So that, and they will be on Kindle Unlimited, as far as I know. So I'm so excited for that. However, let's move along. Then we're gonna quick fire do 3 books that have already come out in the last few days, but I still wanted to give them like an honorary mention. So first we have Love Around by Lauren Asher, which is the Lakefront Billionaires book 3. And I enjoyed the first book, which is Love Rearranged. Redesigned. And I'm really looking still forward to reading the second book. I still have to do that. However, the third book also sounds really great. We're following Lorenzo and Liv, who I'm sure we know from the books. I can't remember. But it is a fake dating, fake relationship story. So, quite excited. I heard a lot about it. This came out on August 19th, so it just came out. And then we are also getting the 4th book of Grounds of Nyaxia by Carissa Broadbent, which is the like duology series of, I forgot what it was called. It was such a long name. I need to look if I can see it. The Mixology and the Serpent and the Wings of Night books. So the Serpent and the Wings of Night was a duology, and now we're getting the duology from a different character, where the Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk, these names. It is the second book of. I haven't started the first one, so like the third one in the series, because I was gonna wait until the second one is out so I can binge them. But it just released August 5th. I actually do have the copy. I haven't showed you yet, but I do have it already. And I'm very excited. These are kind of like vampire, human, mystical creatures, power play, war, fantasies. But I really, really enjoyed the first book, and I think I'm really gonna love this duology, because the character in this book was one of my favorites throughout the first duology. So I'm really looking forward to reading that. If you want, you can join me. I'll hopefully be getting to this duology soon. I've been reading a lot of my fairy loots lately. Finally. But the issue with it is that they're always first books in a duology or a series, or like sometimes they're standalones. However, I only read the ones that are like part of a series, and they're like the first books, and they just came out, and now it's a tragedy. I will have to wait till 2026 for most of these books to continue, and it's breaking Laurie's bargain, where she actually just announced the second book for 26 is called The Thorn Queen, I believe. Very excited for that. Laurie's bargain is still my favourite book of the year. My favourite book of the year. Sasha Baden Smith. Go get that book, guys. But that at least is a duology, so it will be finished with the next book. And then I read The Glittering Edge by Elsie Silver, and also the story continues next year. Also, A Dance of Lies by Brittany Arena. This is my current read. Next year. Fourth Wing, we do not know. Maybe next year, but like at this point, I can't take the anticipation anymore, okay? Anyway, so the last book that already came out, but I wanted to honorary mention is Katabasis, Katabasis by R.F Kuang. I have unfortunately not yet read an R.F Kuang so far. However, I'm really in the market. I do have the Puppy War because a lovely subscriber sent it to me, and I will have to read that. However, a little birdie, Katabasis, this is how I think this is pronounced, is coming in the next fairy loot box. That's actually on the way. I got the shipping information today. So stay tuned for the unboxing, but it says 2 graduate students must set aside their rivalry and journey to hell to save their professor's soul, perhaps at the cost of their own. Okay. And it just sounds so good. And dark academia, and I'm ready. You know, I am in such a fall mood. I am ready for fall, for autumn, to be in full force. I'm literally, I got my jumpers out, okay? I don't care. Summer's over. I'm still going on my summer holiday, we're bored, whatever. Summer's over. However, those are the ones that are not yet published, so now we'll get into the ones, no, those are the ones that are already published, and now we'll get into the ones that we actually still have to wait for a little bit. So strap in. Alright, obviously, first up we have Wildcard by Elsie Silver. This is the Rose Hill book for coming September 9th. So actually just a few sleeps now. And I'm so excited because it's like ex-boyfriend's dad. He's like a fire pilot, like T. Okay, I'm so down. I think we like got grumpy and everything. And I'm so excited. We also finally got the first book in Elsie's new series announced. I did already forget how it is called. However, I think we'll talk about that in like a book gossip video. I've been meaning to like do an updated one. So, but for now we'll be very excited about Wildcard. I am like really excited. I might do another reading vlog if you guys want, because I think this is gonna be a really good one, because I think there's like age gap and everything, and I think the spice will be spicing, okay? So that's on the list. I have it pre-ordered, so it's hopefully here on the day of release. Then next up on my like top hit list is The Gingerbread Bakery by Laurie Gilmore, which will be the Dream Harbor book 5. And this is finally, okay, I cannot tell you, finally, the book from 2 characters we kind of got throughout the entire series. And we've been waiting so long to finally get this say, Laurie Gilmore's books, they have a special place in my heart, in my soul. I think they're so cozy, so cute, but like, they're not gonna change your world, okay? Like, don't expect the best read of your life. You need to be down, you need to be in the mood for the books, you know? They are truly, to the core, a cozy read. And they're very seasonally themed. So I would say to get like the best experience out of this, to read it in season, which the Gingerbread Bakery will be the second fall themed one. We got the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which is the like really fall themed one, and we got Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, which is end of summer though. And here we got a winter and a spring book. So we now finally are getting another autumn and fall book. I am saying both because if my boyfriend would know that I'm out here saying fall, he would be very mad at me. Anyway, it's coming out September 16th. I had pre-ordered, obviously, and I'm very excited just because we're finally getting this story. Another thing I think with Laurie Gilmore, okay, they're very cliche, they're very cozy. But I think writing-wise, her writing gets better with every single book. Like every single book, I'm like, okay, this is better than last, this is better than previous books. She's learning so much more about giving characters depth and giving a storyline depth. I'm loving it. So if you're starting with a Pumpkin Spice Cafe, it is very cliche. It is very syrupy, sweet, cozy, moody. Like, the mood is the season, okay? Just, you get what you buy. But yeah, if you let yourself, it is such a cozy collection of books that this can really give you that warm feeling. Just really that palette cleanse, cozy read where nothing too crazy happens. The stakes are low. You can snuggle up on your couch with a bit of tea or coffee and you can just enjoy yourself. So yeah, but theme-wise, they are like kind of enemies to lovers. Again, like a small town romance. But I'm so excited to finally get the book of these two. I don't want to spoil it, who they are, if you don't know. So, we'll keep it secret for now. Moving on though. On September 30th, we are getting the first book in the Sweetwater Peak series by Lyla Sage. And the first book will be Soul Searching. And I am really excited for the series because Lyla Sage was previously writing the Rebel Blue Ranch, which is like a small town cowboy-ish series, and I really enjoyed the books, but I think I can only read so much cowboy romance. It's just so niche. I'm not even that into cowboys, you know. So like Elsie Silver is enough for me, okay? However, I love the Rebel Blue Ranch books. I will still continue reading them. I haven't finished them, but I'm very excited that she's branching out. And the new series is paranormal, small town romances. How perfect. And her covers, I don't know, I just love her retro looking covers. I don't know what it is. I think they are so cute. And I'm so excited for this book. So I think we'll actually read the blurb because I think this is a bit of a lesser known book, okay? The other ones we knew enough about. So we have Colin's cat ride does not want to go home. Sweetwater Peak, Wyoming was supposed to be in her rearview mirror, but when she finds out a developer is trying to buy her parents' antique shop out from underneath them, she doesn't have a choice. Or at least that's what she tells her family. they don't need to know that she lost her job and is out of money, or that the ghosts have always been her companion have recently gone silent. But just because she's returned home doesn't mean she has to stay with her parents or crash on her twin sister's couch. Lucky for her, the new-to-town upholsterer has a room for rent above his store. Unluckily, it is absolutely crawling with more ghosts who are freezing her out, and Collins hates being ignored. Brady Cooper is absolutely and totally fine. Seriously, there's no reason why he decided to uproot his life and suddenly move to Sweetwater Park. He just needed a change of pace. At least that's what he tells himself and everyone else. When he agrees to let the elusive Collins Cartwright stay in his spare room, he doesn't know that she's absolutely bonkers, constantly talking to herself and having conversations with no one, or that she's looked like that. But as they begin to get closer, the lines between start them to blur, leaving both of them and the ghosts that have been pushing them together, wondering whether or not their temporary agreement could be something more permanent. Okay, well, like, how fun. I'm so excited for this series. I think it's gonna be a bit of a refresher in my TBR. Truly, I have no other paranormal romances going on, so very, very excited. So, continuing, we are getting another book by Rebecca Ross, which is called Wild Reverence, and it's in the Letters of Enchantment series. So, in the Divine Rebels realm, I think it's gonna be the pre-story to Divine Rivals, and we're gonna get more into the world of the gods. Because if you haven't read Divine Rivals, they kind of have these gods in their human worlds who go to war against each other. It's kind of the setting we start the book out with. And I think in this book, we're kind of getting to know more about the world of the gods and the foul, the fates and stuff behind it. But it's coming out September 2nd. I am intrigued. I'm probably gonna wait until I hear a few opinions from other people, because I enjoyed Divine Rivals, but it was my favorite, so I'm holding off on it for now. But I did want to let you know in case you're in the business. But then, good news for my Adalyn Grace Belladonna girlies, because we are getting a novella from her, which is called Holy. I'm super excited. I loved Belladonna. Belladonna is one of my favorite series. Huge fan. But coming out September 30th, we are getting a kind of holiday here. I think Christmassy, if honest, but I have no idea. I mean, Holly, okay, but why are we getting it so early? Regardless, it's gonna be a holiday Christmas novella, who knows, about our favorite couples, and I'm very excited. I loved the series, so I'm super excited to kind of see them again, even though the novellas are usually shorter. Actually, you know what? It says it's 384 pages. How's this a novella? I think that might be wrong, because it literally says it's a novella. Why would it be 384 pages? I'm sure Goodreads got it wrong there, but I am really excited. Yeah, I think it's about some spirits and new mystery of our main cast. I don't want to say too much, because even staying at the couple's last a spoiler, so I'm not saying anything, okay? But I think you're not going to be disappointed. It's a very dark and gothic romance, and it's just so good. I loved it a lot. Now, a little bit of a genre switch, but you all know that Freida McFadden is my girl. I really enjoy her books. They're not my favourite books ever, okay? I'm not gonna be here selling you this as the greatest thriller like in existence, but I think they're so easy to read. They're fun to read. They're usually pretty spaced. So like I'm there for the wild ride that is a Freida McFadden book. It just hits something in me, okay? It gives me that serotonin boost of like an unbelievable thriller story that's just like fast-paced, fun and twisty, and I just usually really enjoy her books. So we're getting a new book by her. We're kind of getting a new book every few months. Okay, this is nothing new. But October 7th, we're getting The Intruder. And what I know about it is kind of like this main character has a cabin in the woods, and in the storm she's kind of sheltering in her cabin. But then all of a sudden, there's a young girl outside her cabin who she kind of like takes in. But there's weird things going on. Maybe with a girl, maybe not. Like, I have no idea. But it says this is a dawned, deadly tale of survival and desperation. And look, I'm just down, okay? This is coming out like right for spooky season. This sounds just like perfect to read at night on like a windy, rainy night, just to like cozy up and get spooked. I'm in, you know. Freida McFadden, like, take me on the crazy world that is your mind, you know. I'm very curious. But yeah, that's Freida McFadden. But continuing to another favourite of mine that we already talked about, we obviously cannot forget the other book coming out October 7th, which is Made by Hzelwood. This is book 2 in the like bright paranormal romance fantasy series she's doing. I'm a little bit apprehensive. I did enjoy Bright. I love it like normal stemness romance books, just more. But I'll still read it, you know, I'm still excited enough to read it. Bride was kind of a paranormal romance between a vampire and a werewolf. However, it was written very like contemporary romancy, so they're in like a modern world, you know. We have like no fantasy aspect other than they are different species, I guess. Otherwise it just reads like a normal romance. There is also some like Omegaverse going on in the first book, so I'm guessing we'll be faced with that again. I was not ready for it happening. Now I guess I am. We'll see, but I think we're following, I cannot remember her name, but the girl's main character, girl's friend, Serena, from the first book, who's a human if I'm not mistaken, and then we're following an other werewolf again. Okay, and that's all I know about this, so maybe we should read the blurb. So it says Serena Paris is orphaned, packless, and one of a kind. Oh, okay, no, she's not human. Coming forward as the first human-aware hybrid was supposed to heal a centuries-long rift between species. Instead, it made her target prey to the ruthless political machinations between wares, vampires, and the humans. With her enemies closing in on her, she's only one option left if he'll have her. As Alpha of the Northwest Pack, Cone Alexander commands obedience. His authority is so absolute, only a fool would threaten his mate. It doesn't matter if Serena doesn't reciprocate his feelings. Nothing cannot stop him from keeping her safe. But power-hungry vampires and warriors are not the only threats chasing Serena. Sooner or later, her past is bound to catch up with her, and Cohen might be the only thing standing between her and total annihilation. Okay, listen, I still have no idea what's going on, but we'll find out October 7th. Okay, now October 7th, again, I don't know, like some things in the water, October 7th, okay, I don't know, it seems to be a great publishing day. However, we are getting Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber, who's the author of Garber and Once Upon a Broken Heart, the series, which I both loved. They're really beautiful, magical. I think her writing style is really unique and really embellished and great, so I'm very excited because this is her adult debut novel. We kinda knew that she's gonna put out an adult debut after what clusterfuck Spectacular was. Spectacular was the novella for Caraval, the like Christmassy novella. And Caraval itself is very like, I would say it's YA, okay? It's very clean. Nothing is, too spicy. And then all of a sudden, in Spectacular, in his novella, we're like randomly doing really geeky stuff, okay? So we knew she was gonna try and come out with an adult debut, and it was gonna try to set the scene with this novella. I don't know if that worked, but I'm still very excited for this adult release. I'm gonna be very intrigued to see if it can recreate that magic I had with her previous two books. I loved them so much. My mom actually also read them, and she loved them as well, so very excited. It is kind of a historical fiction-esque series. Well, I'll read you. I'm usually not the biggest fan of a historical setting, because usually if an author writes in like a historical setting, if they want to be accurate to the times, we haven't had the biggest progression in like inclusivity towards women and women's rights, as well as like rights slash, how do you say that? Like rights for everyone, like I'm talking the whole shebang, like women rights, LGBTQ rights, like there's still raging racism, like not a fun time usually. So I don't love reading about it because if it's done authentically, there's usually some stuff that really pisses me off. I get really annoyed about the treatment. And yeah, when I read, I don't want to be pissed off at this, like people in the past, you know what I mean? I don't know. So yeah, you're not usually the biggest historical fiction girly, and okay, so we'll see how Stephanie Garber does it. I doubt she's gonna go into like sexism, so we'll see. It says it starts with a class in old movie theatre, folklore 517, local legends and urban myths taught by a woman called the Professor. Most students believe the Professor's stories are just fiction, but Holland S.T. James has always been convinced that magic is real. When she tracks down a local legend named the Watchman, who can supposedly tell you when you'll die, the world finally makes sense, except that the Watchman tells her she will die at midnight tomorrow, unless she finds an ancient object called the alchemical heart. With the clock ticking, Holland is pulled deeper into this magical world in the heart of Los Angeles, and without him feels like a bad idea. But he promises Holland that her sister sent him to protect her. They chase clues and stories that take them closer to the alchemical heart. Holland realizes everyone in this intoxicating new world is lying to her, even the stranger. And if she can't figure out whom to trust, not even the alchemical heart will save her. Okay, you know, I'm down, I'm excited, we will see what it's gonna bring, but I'm very excited. Then, not October 7th, but October 21st, we are getting Good Spirits by B.K Borison, which is book 1 in a new series, Ghosted, which I think they're also like paranormal romances, but with a like holiday twist. So they're holiday romances, paranormal. And I read First Time Caller by B.K Borison. This was actually our first book club read, and it was really fun to read it together. However, I will say, I think if I didn't read it with a book club, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much as I did, and I didn't love it. I enjoyed it, it was a good read. But I think a main part of it was like reading it with other people and like talking about it and having a lot of fun. However, I'm already really intrigued by the second book in the First Time Caller series, Heartstrings, which is also coming out next year. With this book, it just does something to me. I don't know, the blurb, the photo, like the cover. I'm trapped. She caught me because it's a like Ghost of Christmas Past, like retelling story, like romance inspired, like what? I love Ghost of the Christmas Past movies. The Barbie movie for it. I love that. It's like probably one of my favorite Christmas movies, and I love like all versions of it. So I'm incredibly excited for this book. I don't know, I will read it. I'm so excited. Okay, so let's read the blurb together. He is the ghost of Christmas past. She's not exactly Scrooge. Ghost of Christmas past, Nolan Callahan intends to spend his holiday haunting like every other. Get in, get out, return to his otherwise aimless existence as a ghost awaiting the afterlife. But when he's faced with Harriet York, the sweetest assignment he's ever had, he suddenly finds himself wishing for a future. Harriet York has no idea why she's being haunted. She's a good person, or at least she tries to be. A people pleaser to her core, she always does what's expected of her. But as she and Nolan begin to examine her past, they discover there are threads that bind them together, and realize there might be more moving on than expected. With the deadline of Christmas Eve fast approaching, will they find the key to their futures in each other's past, or will they stay firmly in the present, indulging in the unexpected, spirited connection? I'm really excited. So then, honorary mention, November 18th, we're getting Brimstone, which is Fane Alchemy Part 2. So, Quicksilver Book 2 by Callie, and I haven't read Quicksilver yet. It's like on my immediate TBR, so I think I will until November 18th. But I'm very excited that I can dip into the next book. I am a bit annoyed though. They changed like the entire cover layout, and now the books are not gonna match. And I will not be buying another version of Quicksilver. No. But yeah, so if you know it, Quicksilver Book 2 is around the corner. Okay. Now, this is a very, very famous book, and I have like zero idea of the lore behind it, okay? You need to educate me if you made it this far. But, expected 23rd of September, so actually next month. We are getting Alchemized by SenLiYu. And I such an overly expected release because it was because this is the dread publishing of the fanfic that she wrote a long time ago that's called Manacles. I think everyone's heard of that. Manacles, which is okay, I haven't read it, I actually have it because there was such a frenzy because obviously it was going to be taken down before this book was published. So I did download it. Because I was always really interested in reading it. I heard so much about it, and I used to love Harry Potter fanfics. Okay, spilling the tea over here, but my fanfic obsession was like One Direction. Do not judge me. I probably read more Harry Styles fanfics than is legally allowed. But my other ones were Avatar for sure, and Harry Potter. Oh, and Twilight. I cannot find this fanfic anymore, but I swear I read like one of the best fanfics about Renesmee and her like life as a teen. And it was so good. It was so good. Forever engraved in my heart, but I cannot find it anymore. It's just gone in the void. Sidetracked. So yeah, this is gonna be like crazy. I heard so much about this book. Okay, people are not shutting up about this book. Because the fanfic is like arguably the biggest fanfic of all time. It is a Hermione X Draco Malfoy fanfic after kind of Harry Potter's death. And the amount of times, like, I read what the last sentence was, like, I've heard so much about this book, I haven't read it, but yeah, now obviously it's getting dread published, which kind of means the Harry Potter aspect will have to be taken out of it. I am very intrigued to, like, see how they're gonna do that, because obviously this is kind of like an alternate ending past, or post Harry Potter story, and now like they're gonna have to leave Harry Potter out of it. I think I'm gonna have to think about Harry Potter the entire time, but I'm very excited. Again, I've had a little birdie whisper in my ear that this is a FairyLoot book that's gonna be in the September book box. So at this point, I just like know all the FairyLoot book books before they come out because I'm currently like so ingrained in like book gossip. I know like everything that's going on, and every time a FairyLoot is like making huge waves, I kind of hear about it because a lot of people are trying to like sell them previously for like a lot of money and shit. So I am very excited. So people are very curious because the book is 1,040 pages, and I don't think FairyLoot has ever made a book this big. It's gonna be like this big, because FairyLoot books are already usually a lot bigger. But yeah, I'm very curious to see how they're gonna do that. So come back in September to watch that unboxing, hopefully. But I'm like so excited. I think I'm gonna like, I don't even know, like, do I read Manacled before reading this, or do I just like read this and then afterwards I read Manacled in case this book is worse than Manacled, but then I won't know, you know. Then I'll have this book be great on its own, give it a fair fighting chance, and then read Manacled. I don't know. But if you never heard about this whole lore, I'm very sorry. I have like word vomited this on you right now. But I think we should read the blurb because I actually haven't read it yet. I just know about the whole thing of the manacled lore. Just I cannot speak anymore. Okay, so what is it you think you're protecting in that brain of yours? The war's over. Holdfast is dead. This eternal flame extinguished. There's no one left for you to save. Once a promising alchemist, Helena Moreno is now a prisoner of war and of her own minds. Her resistant friends and allies have been brutally murdered. Her abilities suppressed, and the world she knew destroyed. In the aftermath of a long war, paladins, a new ruling class of corrupt, guild families and depraved necromancers, whose vile undead creatures help bring about their victory, holds Helena captive. According to Resistance records, she was a healer of little importance within their ranks, but Helena has inexplicable memory loss of the months leading up to her capture, making her enemies wonder, is she truly as insignificant as she appears, or are her lost memories hiding some vital piece of the Resistance final gambit? To uncover the memories buried deep within her mind, Helena is sent to the High Reef, one of the most powerful and ruthless necromancers in this new world. Trapped on his crumbling estate, Helena is fighting to protect her lost memory, and to preserve the last remaining shreds of her former self is just beginning. For her prison and captor have secrets on their own, secrets Helena must unearth, whatever the cost. I will say this reads really weirdly if you kind of think about Harry Potter the entire time. But I'm like super intrigued. Okay, I'm super duper intrigued. I think this is gonna be great. But yeah, I'm so excited. I'm obviously very excited for the very late edition to come out. I think it's gonna be great. I think I've seen that there's another special edition that's for normal sale from a bookstore. So snag that up if you're interested. But yeah, very exciting release coming up. I think this is going to be a book that's going to be very, very talked about. Unfortunately, I think there's like a huge chance it's going to be very disappointing. But I'm praying it's not going to be. But that was the last book that I wanted to talk about today. Just going to save the biggest for last. But yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for the very late edition of it. And I'm obviously very excited to be reading, hopefully, most of these books in the next few months. So, if you want to come along, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. But, my friends, thank you for hanging out with me today for another very long whispered video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got to relax a little bit, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you again